The episode begins with Captain Marvel flying over the ruined city of New York. She quickly radios Ms. Marvel and orders her to be in position while she chases after the three-headed demon dog of the underworld, Cerberus. Captain Marvel cuts it off when approaching Times Square and leads it to where Ms. Marvel is waiting. Black Panther arrives on the scene and reports that the others are in position. When Cerberus charges at Ms. Marvel, Black Panther worries that the plan won't work and initiates Plan B. Suddenly, Ant-Man and Wasp appear before Cerberus and summon an ant army to attack it. Hovering over the city, Vision witnesses the others knocked away, so he nosedives at the enemy, transforming to high-density mode. Captain Marvel insists on leading the attack, but gets in the way, and Vision falls on top of her instead of Cerberus. With the others decommissioned, Black Panther initiates Plan C and takes it on himself. Suddenly, he gets pushed aside when Hercules, the self-proclaimed Prince of Power, arrives. Hercules jumps at Cerberus and pushes him inside a building. Black Panther worries that the building is collapsing with people still inside. Vision and Captain Marvel try to hold it from falling, but when it isn't enough, Black Panther wakes Ms. Marvel, to which she kicks it back in place. Hercules comes flying out of the building, and Cerberus chases after him, which the Avengers steer clear of their way. Hercules fends off Cerberus and throws punches that hold it in place. He then pulls out his mace and lands a devastating blow on its head. The impact so strong that car alarms go off. Feeling the brunt of his attack, Cerberus mysteriously disappears in smoke. When the battle ends, Captain Marvel asks him who he is, to which Hercules proudly declares himself to be the Prince of Power, the Lion of Olympus, and the greatest of the Argonauts. She finds it suspicious that Hercules suddenly shows up while they are handling a gigantic three-headed magic dog out of nowhere. Black Panther criticizes her, saying everything would have worked out if she had followed the original plan. Captain Marvel explains that no plan survives contact with the enemy, but Black Panther argues that she changed his plan before they could even try it. Hercules tries to jump in, but they brush him off entirely as the two continue to argue. He claims that he came to find the Avengers, and Ant-Man explains that they are the ones he sought. Hercules burst into laughter, unable to believe what he said, thinking it was a joke. Still, after seeing their disgruntled looks, he realized he was telling the truth. Hercules demanded to speak to their leader, to which both Black Panther and Captain Marvel declared to be one. He finds it interesting that they are into democracy, but he explains that a team without a leader is not a team. Although Captain Marvel agrees, Black Panther says this conversation should be taken elsewhere instead of in the middle of the street. When they took Hercules back to the mansion, he was greatly impressed that their kitchen was fully stocked with food, their sparring room spacious, and most especially entertained with professional wrestling. Ant-Man claims he thought wrestling was pale in comparison to Olympus. Captain Marvel calls everyone for a meeting, but Hercules skips it, still engrossed in watching wrestling. Black Panther asks him what he meant when he said he'd join them next time, to which Hercules claims he will join the Avengers. Black Panther refuses to accept Hercules as part of the Avengers. Vision explains that his analysis indicates Hercules is in the strength class as Thor or the Hulk. Wasp claims they could use a big gun, but Black Panther argues that he's more of a loose cannon. Black Panther points out that Hercules caused half of the damage to the city. Ant-Man argues that Cerberus did most of the damage, and that if they should handle this kind of monster, the team could use a heavy hitter and suggest they decide by voting. Black Panther refuses and claims that this is a command decision. Believing himself to be their leader, he makes the decisions. Captain Marvel contests his claim, stating she's a battle-tested leader, having undergone more combat than him. Black Panther stands his ground and declares that he's a king, their best tactician and the highest intellect. While the two argue about being a more qualified leader than each other, Ant-Man suggests giving Hercules a chance when suddenly they hear noises from upstairs. The Avengers head upstairs to discover that Hercules has thrown a party to celebrate his joining the Avengers, ordering tons of pizza. Black Panther claims that this isn't how they do things and that the Avengers don't throw parties. Suddenly, the wall breaks down, and a giant four-headed serpent crashes into their living room. While the Avengers try to fend it off, Captain Marvel witnesses Hercules run into the back room. When they thought they had defeated the creature, it suddenly multiplied to grow 8 heads and captured them. Hercules arrives with his trusty mace and mauls the beast, causing it to disappear in the smoke. Having defeated it, Hercules claims that the creature is called a Hydra. Ant-Man claims the only thing left is to throw a welcoming party for Hercules. Ms. Marvel is excited that they finally have their version of Thor, but Hercules claims he is not Asgardian. Hercules claims that although Thor is mighty, his people are cold, grim, and dull compared to the Olympians, who are hot-blooded, zesty, and energetic. He then quickly challenges Captain Marvel to an arm wrestle. When Black Panther mentions he'll return to the control center to find a pattern for these monsters, Hercules quickly tries to stop him. He reassures him that he will take care of the monsters when they show up, now that he's with them. Black Panther finds his behavior suspicious. When Hercules' distraction doesn't work on him, he puts his hand on him, but Black Panther throws him to the ground and interrogates him. Hercules refuses to answer him and prepares to fight when the ground suddenly shakes, and they hear a voice outside. The Avengers look outside to find it is Ares, the Prince of War, harbinger of destruction and bringer of pain. Hercules comes out and tells Ares to go home, refusing to return the powerful Mace of War. When Ares insists, Black Panther interrupts and claims that they will not just hand Hercules over to him, and that the return of the mace will still be for discussion. Ares refuses to negotiate and charges at them. While the Avengers keep Ares distracted, Cerberus chases after Hercules and knocks him down. Ares is unimpressed with the Avengers, despite the stories he has heard about them. He pulls out a sword and opens a portal that he and Cerberus escaped into with a captured Hercules. Vision claims that the portal remains open, but when Captain Marvel wants to go after them, Black Panther stops her and explains that he isn't convinced they should get involved in Olympian business. Captain Marvel argues that this is an Avenger business now that Hercules is one of them. Black Panther points out that Hercules stole from Ares, but Captain Marvel argues that her instincts are telling her something more is happening. Black Panther walks away, claiming that the team needs informed decision-making and leadership. Seeing the disapproving looks from everyone, Black Panther gives in, claiming that although Hercules isn't an Avenger, Captain Marvel is one and decides to follow her this time. When they crossed the portal, they were surprised to find themselves at Mount Olympus. Ares was surprised to find the Avengers followed them through the portal. Captain Marvel asks Ares what he plans to do with Hercules and the mace. Ares claims that Hercules is a thief and that stealing one of his weapons would have been crime enough, but the mace is a different issue as it is the key to opening Tartarus. He then uses the mace to summon thousands of beasts from the underworld, calling forth the legendary creature, the Kraken, to attack the Avengers. Black Panther orders the team to attack its legs to stop it from crossing over the portal, but Captain Marvel insists that they attack from above, tying up its arms so it can't attack. Seeing the Avengers arguing, Ares claims they can't win against the Kraken. He claims it will crush the Avengers and travel to Earth to destroy it, describing it as a fitting punishment for their disrespect. Hercules has grown tired of watching the Avengers fight for their lives, so he breaks free from his chains and sends Ares flying with a punch. After setting their differences aside, both Black Panther and Captain Marvel agree that they need to focus on the matter at hand. Having come to an agreement, Captain Marvel and the team handle defeating the Kraken and closing the hole to the underworld while Black Panther deals with Ares. When Ares is about to finish off Hercules, Black Panther arrives and rescues him. Ares is furious at them for standing up to him, describing himself as the winner of 10,000 battles and deemed the greatest warrior of all time. When their brutish tactics don't work, Black Panther suggests fighting smarter, to which Hercules proposes that Black Panther go for Ares' chest of war. Meanwhile, the Avengers struggle to deal with the Kraken. Captain Marvel pins the creature with her powers and orders Vision to keep its legs on lockdown, while Ms. Marvel pulls its other leg back towards the pit. Ant-Man and Wasp attack the Kraken head-on, and Ant-Man suggests getting inside its head. Captain Marvel worries that even if they did manage to pull it back into the pit, they have no way of closing it without the Mace of War. While Hercules keeps Ares distracted, Black Panther takes a weapon from the chest and attacks Ares from behind.
Game on.
When Ares turns his attention to Black Panther, Hercules picks up the Mace of War and intends to escape with it when Ms. Marvel catches him in the act. She explains how she was sent by Captain Marvel to retrieve the mace and orders Hercules to help Black Panther. Little did she realize that the mace was heavy. When Ares lowers his guard, Hercules knocks him from behind, and together with Black Panther, they take him down. Hercules feels terrible that they must fight his battles, but Black Panther explains that Avengers do things as one. Black Panther tied Ares in chains, which Hercules threw into the air. The Avengers finally push Kraken back into the pit, but they struggle to contain it while Ms. Marvel struggles to bring the mace over because it's heavy. Kraken tries to break out when Ares falls on top of it, and they both fall into the pit. Once they fall to the bottom of the pit, the Avengers help close the large gates, and Ms. Marvel then uses the mace to close the pit permanently. With Ares defeated and the Kraken banished, Captain Marvel is surprised that Black Panther has made up with Hercules. Black Panther explains that they're not best friends, but could be teammates if Hercules decides to join the Avengers. Hercules turns him down, claiming he still has much to learn about responsibility. He claims that whenever he's ready, he'll find their leader, to which they are reminded that they have not settled the issue. Ant-Man interrupts and claims that they're both leaders, with Black Panther as the general and Captain Marvel as the field commander, to which both agree. Back at the mansion, the Avengers were debating what to have for dinner. Hercules interrupts them and suggests Greek food, which he then invites them to a restaurant nearby. Black Panther reminds Hercules that he still has something to finish, and he returns to cleaning up the mess that he made when Hydra attacked the mansion. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.